their client. They don't want you talking to their client without them knowing what's going on in the conversation. And imagine that in your own business, you don't want someone being able to do something in your own business that you don't want to have occur. Look at, even talking about Facebook, and I talk about, and you've seen people do, like you saw Ben do a live stream. You saw the amazing live stream that Leela did the other day. You know, it's like, I have say, because it's my group, if you're going to do a live stream on my page, it's mine. These are my rules. And it's like, if you don't want to abide by anyone's rules, you got to create your own stuff.
Yeah.
You got to go
absolutely
stuff. You know, with that, I see Andrea has a question. Can you see the question, Will?
I don't. Let me go to. Let me see if I can.
It says, so should we make our website more interactive? Is the question that she's talking about. Do you want to tackle that?
Absolutely, sure. I think, and I'm guilty of this as charged. Maybe you're the best person for this, Earl. But I mean, your website should be interactive, where you're having a capture page that they have to go somewhere. They're able to connect with you, and I was thinking about this recently. Here is that I was seeing a comment in our on your group today about Facebook ads, and Anthony Pica was having some struggles trying to use Facebook ads with Fiverr, and I think the conclusion is that instead of sending Facebook ads to a platform, send it to your website, where they're able to they have a capture page, which you've taught yourself here, where people actually go, they fill out information, they get their questions answered, and you're able to create orders.
I think we lost Will there for a minute. Let me just see if I can't get him back.
I see.
I know this is kind of funky here. Let me just see if I can do something about this on my end. But anyway, I'll finish answering the question for Will here. In regards to the whole thing about being more interactive, the question that Andrea asked with that is that your website is interactive. Most people just don't use it in that manner. They don't use it in an interactive manner. And this is what I mean by that. Will touched on having landing pages there that are specific to a specific genre that you're trying to attract. Our general websites for VoiceOver are mostly general. They talk about everything it is that we can do, whereas a landing page is going to talk about something specific. You're going to have a specific landing page for if you do e-learning. You're going to have a specific landing page if you do characters. And those landing pages are going to speak only to that genre, whereas your main website, which all of us obviously should have, is going to be general, but you want to make sure that people can contact you from that in order to do business with you. That's the only interaction that I see is needed on a website. Your email address, your phone number, and if you have some sort of contact information as far as a form for people to fill out. That's the interactive. So now how do you make it more interactive? You've got to put yourself out there more. You've got to post on social media. You've got to run ads on whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram. Some of these things, you've got to be driving traffic to something that people want to interact with. That's the thing with that. Shucks, I'm not sure what happened with Will, but that's okay. He'll probably try and come back in. Will, if you can hear me, just go ahead and disconnect and reconnect, and we'll go from there. This happens to me every time I do a live stream. Yeah, he just disconnected, so he's going to connect back in with that. But so we've got another question here from Thomas. Chat is on option on your web. Yes, chat is an option on your website. But let me tell you what happens with that. I had chat on my website for Steps to VoiceOver Success, which I took off. The reason being I was getting too many requests by having that available. I don't think that most of you would fall into the category of having too much there, but also if you've got chat on your website, You need to be available to be able to answer those chats when they come in. Because if you're not there when they come in, it's going to turn into a problem for people, and they're going to see you as unresponsive. They're going to see you as maybe not even professional because you're not answering their question. With that, another question here. Should the landing page be part of the main website or basically a one-page website? You want the landing page. Thanks for that question, James. You want your landing page as a part of your website. Now, let me further explain that. A landing page is just that. It's a place where people land because they're clicking on an ad or a post that you've made on social media, directing them specifically to, like I was saying before, a specific type of voiceover. The landing page is not one of the links on your website. It's a part of your website, but it's whateveryourwebsite.com/something. That's a landing page. You don't have to have that visible, and in most cases, you don't want it visible or clickable on your main website. You just want it there to be able to, okay, we got Will back here coming back in. So, hey, Will, you're back, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it happens to me too. So don't even worry about it with that. All right. Yeah. So, but I was answering, I finished answering the question that Andrea had, and then Tom came in with a question as well. And also James that I answered about, landing pages and making your website, more interactive. Are there any ideas that you have, Will, in regards to that question about interactivity? People talked about, one of the questions I think Will asked about was like having chat on your website. And what I said is that you probably don't want a chat feature on your website unless you're there to answer it immediately. Because if you have that feature and you don't answer it immediately, it's not going to look very good to you or good for you.
Right. Well, I think, putting capture pages on your website is important. I haven't done any so far here for voice work, and I know exactly where I'm at and what I need to do. And I think if I can, maybe get an admonition to people when it comes to this, is that if you find yourself like me, I think my trap has been that I get it on a platform, it becomes successful, and I continue, spending more time trying to get orders from that platform versus going back, taking a break from that, and then building your website correctly, getting your funnel pages done correctly. And I think that's a big wake-up call to me. And I think after this is going to be, for me, is that, this needs to be an essential, important part of what I'm doing. I have a website that I'm using, that I'm getting great connections with my email campaign and I've gotten a couple of orders from some folks doing it that way, which you have taught before, Earl. But the challenge for me is to, if you find yourself immersed in getting busy, just remember that this platform is not permanent and it can go away. So, be disciplined and pause that for a while and go back and do some fundamental things that you need to do. And I'm the typical radio personality, which is usually, and my wife can attest to this, totally scatterbrained, I got a lot of creative juices flowing, but I'll lose my keys, my wallet 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day. I'm not the detailed person that I need to be, but I know deep down inside, I can be. So I have to go back and I have to do some of those essential things to make that work correctly. So it becomes, what I'm building is, I'm not building Fiverr, I'm building my own. And one of the things I want to slow you down
right there. I want to slow you down because that was key what you just said.
Right.
You don't want to build Fiverr. You want to build your own. That was a key statement that you just made right there. And that I think people need to really pay attention to. And the thing is, what you focus in on and what you concentrate in on grows. You've seen that with the success of what you've done on Fiverr. You focused in, it grew. So that should tell you that always translates to whatever. If you focus in on something, that is the thing that's going to grow. It's part of the reason why I tell people when they're trying to employ strategies and marketing tactics and things of that nature, don't be the scatterbrain like we can be. You want to pick a strategy, work it for 3 to 6 months, and evaluate it. Now, some people don't have that level of patience. I'm one of them. That is not the most patient person in the world. Uh, with having waiting for things to happen. I can attest to that. But I also know that if I focus in on something for 3 to 6 months, it's going to work.
Right.
And if I make you were talking about the Bible earlier, the Bible has this thing that says, make your eye single. And what that means is when you focus, have a singular goal, a singular thing to punch in on or to concentrate and focus in on, and do that and watch that thing grow, because it will. So right. I'm sorry I had to cut you off right there.
But no, you're good. You're good.
You made such a key statement. I wanted to make sure that people heard that.
Right. And, and here's the interesting thing, too, is that, and this is a theme that I have seen over and over and over again. If you do a little bit of investigation and you get online and research some people, the top rated sellers, the ones that are killing it, the ones that are showing up in Business Insider magazine and are in USA Today articles because they're making all this money, they're not spending all their time on Fiverr either. That actually, the footprint that they're making is a huge footprint. But you look them up. They have a website. They have capture pages. Yeah. They have built it. They have built it. And the fact that they're top-rated sellers is because they have built that firm foundation. It's not because they spend all their time on Fiverr. It's because they built their foundation and they're reaping the rewards of that. Is key. And I think that's worth noting if you ever get yourself caught up on one platform.
Yeah. I'm seeing if let's see, Ruth has a question. Good morning. So build my own platform. Is the platform the same as the website, specific landing pages and contact info? Is this in relationship to branding? Yes, that is. When we're talking about branding yourself or building your own platform, Ruth, and thanks for the question. We're talking about your website. We're talking about your social media presence. We're talking about your YouTube channel or your blog or your podcast that you do. Build your brand specifically. Well, you are, and I'm going back to this whole thing where I was talking about earlier about being on the leading edge of this whole thing in voiceover. And that's why I call my show, In the Booth with Earl Hall, the leading edge of voiceover, is because this is all leading edge information. This is all stuff that people need to understand and know. And it's stuff that the folks that are quote unquote above us aren't talking about. They're not talking about this in the same manner as what you are talking about. You are the resident expert at this point in our group, Steps to Voiceover Success for Fiverr. And I will call you that probably forever.
Okay, appreciate that.
You do an amazing live stream. Do you do your live stream every day?
I try to. Some days I can't, but most of my goal is to try to do it every single morning, usually around 9 a.m. I think ever since I got my studio finally built in my home, it's actually become more of a priority because I think one of the things that I think that you have taught me here, Earl, is that there's certain steps that you must do. The first step that when I first found you on YouTube, was you got to build your own website. You can't fool around. You can't be sending out little emails. They're not going to take you seriously. And so I put everything aside and I built it and I put it together. The next step was your email campaign. I did that. I put that together. And the next step, which was more importantly, I can't be using the radio station time, which they probably don't care. They're actually very cool about it. But at the same time, for personally, I'd rather do all that at home. I don't want to be doing this at the radio station and having the corporate bigwig come by one day and see me doing, hey, what you up to? Well, I'm doing a 200,000 word audiobook right now. What are you up to? Right? So I had to get away. I totally had to get away from that. So I mean, those are some of the things that I have learned. I actually forgot your question. I think
that's okay. You answered my question there. I think Andrea has another question coming up. She says, so how should Will find the same success he's having on Fiverr? I think she meant to say, how should we all find the same success he's having on Fiverr on his own? Oh, okay. Outside of Fiverr. So how do you have the same success on Fiverr as you do off of Fiverr? Here's the thing, and I'm gonna take a